Be blessed in the name of Yeshua. In this beautiful day, we are on Shabbat, the day that Elohim set apart. He set apart to bless us and to give us his appointment. So today we are going to continue with the teaching, but as we know, and I like it what Brother John says, that we are living in the natural world, but also in a spiritual world. So we know that we need the physical food because we are physical, but in the same time we need the spiritual food. And what we read, the Torah, the scriptures, we know that these scriptures are not only ink, is not only words written with ink. These words, these ancient words, like the song, these ancient words are spirit and truth. And this is what we come to seek here. This is what we come to dig, is the spirit of this word that is going to change and touch our life. And so we are going to pray. We are going to make a prayer. Elohim, here, we are in your presence. We know that without you, we cannot do anything. We depend on you. And we know that what we need, what our soul needs is your word, the spirit, your spirit. And may your spirit open our eyes and touch our hearts, because we didn't come here to have some entertainment. Is good. We are here to rejoice in your Shabbat, in your presence, but also we came here because we know that this powerful word is the one who creates everything, is the one who transforms our life, touch our soul and our body and our spirit. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we pray. So again, Shabbat Shalom. And we keep on with the series of the Tabernacle, part 57. I cannot believe it still. I say few or 2 months ago, something like that, that I was wondering if I will be able to make a message of 45 minutes with the Tabernacle. I was speaking with my sister, and now we are in 57 messages. So the word of Elohim is very, very amazing. It's huge. So we continue with the series with the Tabernacle part 57 and the Ark of the Covenant part 8. Nevertheless, as we do every Shabbat, I'm gonna make a brief recap of the previous part. So in the first part, what we saw in the first part, we saw that Elohim commanded Moses to make the Ark of the Covenant first before any other object. Why? Because it is the most important, and also because Elohim presence will dwell on it. Now, in the second part of the Ark of the Covenant, we know that we learned that the most holy place contain only the Ark. To compare into the holy place, 3 items, but there only the Ark. Why? This fact put emphasis to the fact that Elohim is Ehad. He is one, and not 3 distant persons composing one true God. Only one Elohim. And after, in the Ark of the Covenant, part 3, we said that the Ark of the Covenant is a shadow of of things to come. After that, in addition, we said that the Ark of the Covenant is known in the scriptures as the Ark of the Covenant and also the Ark of the Testimony. Also, the Ark of your mighty. We, as exactly as we sung, the Ark of your mighty, and is known as the Ark of Elohim Yahweh. Then, in the Ark of the Covenant, part 4, we study that the Ark is a chest, and its purpose, a chest, a box, a chest, and its purpose is to gather, to protect, and to keep the Elohim treasure. What is Elohim treasure? The Elohim treasure is there inside. He put the two tablets of stone, and where were inscribed the 10 words, the 10 Devarim, which we know as the 10 commandments. And also, there was another treasure was the jar of man. Later, we are going to speak about it. And also, we have Aaron staff. So, moreover, we said that we are shadow of the ark because Elohim created us according to his image and his likeness to do exactly what he does. By the way, we saw that our body was made similarly to the ark. Therefore, we could see it by the fact that the human cranium protects the brain and the thoracic cage protects the lungs. And exactly the both the brain and the lungs have the same shape as the tablet stone. So it's everything he has made is according to his word, the ark. So in the Ark of the Covenant, part 5, we learned that is covenant in Hebrew, and we explained. Also, we studied 3 examples of kinds of covenant made between different persons with different. We saw that Elohim made 7 covenants, and this is what we are going to pursue today. And we was wondering why he made 7, because 7 is about perfection. The number 7 speaks about perfection and also speak about fulfillment. The number 7 speaks about fullness, and the number 7 speaks also about accomplishment and purification. Then, in the Ark of the Covenant, part 7, we are starting repeating that the phrase Ark of the Covenant is equal to say Elohim of the Covenant. The reason is because Elohim himself, he declared, he stated, I am the Elohim, the faithful Elohim who keeps my covenants. Now, and then we saw other covenants that Elohim made with other people. In that case was Moses, and the other one was Phinehas. Now, till now, we have studied 5 covenants, out of 7. And today we are going to start to study the Ark of the Covenant, part 8, and is gonna be with David, the covenant. So we 5, verse 10 and 11. That's it. So que la okay. My neighbor told me that I'm young. That he said that welcome to the young person who after 40 we become young. I don't want to insult nobody. Yeah, the class. Yeah. No, there is the idea. I don't want to say a specific. Yeah. So now they are to make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits in length, 1.5 cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. You are to overlay it with pure gold inside the inside and out, and make a crown of gold around it. So we read the instruction to make the Ark of the Covenant, and we repeat the phrase Ark of the Covenant equal Elohim of the Covenant, Deuteronomy 7:9. So far, we could list the covenant Elohim made with men. He started with Adam, and Eve. He made a covenant, and he said, gave the promise that the offspring of the woman will crush the head of the evil. So the second one was the covenant Elohim made with Noah. The third one was the covenant Elohim made with Abraham. He said, in your offspring, all the families and all the families of the earth will be blessed. The fourth covenant Elohim made with the human was the covenant with Moses. The fifth is the covenant he gave to Phineas. And now is the covenant that he made with King David. So let's see that the covenant Elohim made with David is like a thread, is like a cord, is a line that's come from Abraham. In other words, David is descendant of Judah. Judah is the fourth son of Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah. And we must remember that Elohim covenant with David agreed, is connected with the other's previous covenant. By instance, Elohim made a covenant with Abraham and his descendants. Actually, this is what exactly David is. He is descendant of Abraham. When we read in Matthew chapter 1, verse 2 and 6, Abraham fathered Isaac. Isaac fathered Jacob. Jacob fathered Judah and his brothers. Judah fathered Perez, and we continue like that till when we arrive to, and Jesse fathered David the king. So just to show you that there is the line, family line. So we say that when we speak about a covenant, there is some points to be considered. In a covenant, we have some parts. I cannot make a covenant myself. I may, but there is some parts. There is a context. There is some provision, responsibilities, blessings that goes in the covenant, and we have sacrifice also in the scriptures. Every covenant. 2 weeks ago, maybe we saw that with Phineas, but there was also, and people died. It is what happened. So let's see the context of this covenant with David. The context is that after the Ark of the Covenant is returned to Jerusalem, David's purpose was to build a house for the Ark, to house the Ark. What was the house? The temple. That is to say, the temple. So, why? Because previously the Ark of the Covenant remained for 3 months in the house of Obed Edom, the Gittite. This is in 2 Samuel 6:11. Then what happened? Obed Edom, he opened his house, 2 houses, to keep the ark, and in consequently, he was blessed. We know that the Ark of the Covenant represents Elohim. So we here, if we want to be blessed, what we have to do? Let's take the example of Obed Edom. He kept the Ark of the Covenant. So let's bring the Ark of the Covenant. Let's bring the presence of Elohim. And how? I will not explain 1 hour how, but just very easy, a little hint, clue. We learned last Saturday that the need are the same words with the word blessing, braha. So if you want to attract or bring the presence of Elohim, so let's put us on our needs and to be prepared to receive blessing from Elohim. So let's do as Obed Edom. Then we continue reading, and in the verse 17, it says that David and the people brought the Ark of the Covenant and set it in its place inside the tent that David had pitched for it. And after that, he sacrificed burnt offerings and fellowship offering for Elohim. Now, why David decided to do that, or why he had this intention? It was because he saw that King David, as a human, he was to live in a beautiful house, in a palace of cedar, and the ark where Elohim presence dwelt on it was to live in a curtain tent, very simple tent. And for him was like a doesn't make sense. Is Elohim who put me here as king to serve him? Why I'm gonna live in a better place than him? He deserves to live. And that was David's intention. So David's intention was good, even though Elohim did not ask him to do it. And it was around, the context was around this context, that Elohim, because he had the good intention, so Elohim made a covenant, came to make a covenant with David. And how he did, how we know, Elohim sent the prophet, and he said, go and tell my servant David and tell him, this is what Elohim says. This is the word. Now it's like it's not clear where is the word covenant, but you're going to see. So this is in the book of Samuel 7, 2 Samuel 7, verse 5 and 8, and verse 9. We're going to read the verse 9. Let's see if we, 7, okay. We don't have the 7. Okay, so now thus you shall say to my servant David, thus says Adonai Sebaot, I took you from the pasture. Elohim start to remember David, who David was in the beginning, and to tell him that he brought him there. And after he was about to make a covenant and to give some promises to David. So we see the words, do not express, tell not my brother, tell my servant David. This is what the Elohim says. These words do not express clearly uh, about to make a covenant. Nevertheless, the scriptures later, the scriptures relate about this was a covenant. Uh, we could, this word that he said in Second Samuel chapter 7, 5, 8, 9 was exactly a covenant between Elohim for David. We could see it in the book of Psalms, chapter 89, verse 28. If we read Psalms, okay, I'm gonna maybe a little bit, gonna be easier to read. I also will set him as firstborn, the highest of the kings of earth. What he says that, I apologize. When I try to find some mistakes, I don't find. Okay, it is here. It says, 28 says, I, 28, this, I will establish his line forever, his throne as long as the heaven endure. Okay. It says, I will not violate my covenant or alter what my lips have uttered. Then in this chapter, David explains and reminds what Elohim, the covenant he was doing in 2 Samuel chapter 7. And then he explained that it was clearly a covenant. This is what I want to say. So, moreover, this covenant was a special, for no one could change it due to the fact that it was a covenant of salt. A covenant of salt. Yes, we could read in 2 Chronicles chapter 13 and 5. There is when it happened when already the two houses were split. So Israel house and Judah house. So Israel house came to against Judah house. And they said, do you know that Adonai, God of Israel, has given kingship over Israel to David forever, to him and his sons by a covenant of salt? So what is a covenant of salt? The covenant of self take place in the Torah. It's not something that is later, but start with the beginning. When Elohim gave the priests and their family a part of the food offerings, Elohim said, it is an everlasting covenant of self before Elohim. Numbers 18:19. In addition, the commandment regarding the grain offering in the book of Leviticus require also to be seasoned with salt. Leviticus 2:12-13. Oh no, okay, okay. So what does it mean, a covenant of salt? It means that the covenant is perpetual. Perpetual covenant is a perpetual covenant due to the use of the salt as a preservative. We know that with the salt we could use for many utilities, many cases, and one of these is to preserve. If you put salt in a piece of meat, it's gonna last long time, and no bacteria will want to come to to it or to transform the meat. So there is why there is the meaning of the covenant of salt. In addition, in the past, it was a guarantee, a guarantee. It was a promise of fidelity, of faithfulness. And it was also something that brought security to people. And what was the consequences? If someone violated this covenant of salt, was immediately a death penalty. That's why people take it seriously when was about a covenant of salt. And it is the same way with Elohim when he speak about it. Now, the salt is not only in the Torah. In the Brit Hadashah, what we know as the New Testament, the salt is mentioned. Yeshua as well, he spoke about salt in Matthew chapter 5:13. Let's see if we find. Okay. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt should lose its flavor, how shall it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. Here, salt is a synonymous of purity, holy, and is a synonymous of to of permanence, to stay permanent and to stay in permanence in the faith of in Yeshua. Be faithful to Yeshua. Then he said, if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything else except to be thrown out and be trampled by men. What we could say about that? It's everything is about people, and when someone come to Yeshua, when people after they know Yeshua, and they are attracted, they are by the world, they are dragged by the world, and they quit Yeshua. They start to do what the pleasure of the world offer them. Even if this person remember the scripture and has the verses in by heart, know the verses by heart, uh, this person have lost the saltiness. This person, when people is going to hear that former follower of Yeshua, people, they will start to criticize him very badly. And this is the way that that person is going to be like the salt that is going to be trampled by men. So we have uh, we have another text where Yeshua mentions about the salt, and the salt as we are to be holy, pure, and we are to stay in harmony and in peace with other people. In the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 49, it says, everyone will be salted with fire. So we know that the fire purify, the salt purify, is about to be holy. And also Yeshua said that we are going to follow him with a lot of sufferings, with a lot of tribulation, fire. Mark, again, the salt is mentioned by Shaul, the one who we know as Paul. In the letter of to the Colossians, there Paul compared our words, our conversation, uh, as the grain offerings, which had to be seasoned with with salt. And he says in Colossians 4:6, let your conversation, let your word be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Salt here is to be pure again and is about to be transparent with other people. And be transparent means without hypocrisy, that our words could reflect our deeds, our action, and like that is gonna keep harmony and peace with everyone. So that's why, everything we have in the Torah have a reason, and Yeshua he explained. So in a covenant, we say that we have sacrifice, burnt offering, and that and all that. So we are going to see the sacrifice to support the covenant, and we know that the sacrifices were done before the covenant, just before, and it was uh, around the Ark of the Covenant, because people were uh, glad, because after 3 months they get back the the Ark of the Covenant. So while they were bringing the Ark of the Covenant, they made sacrifices. They offered burnt offerings, and people were rejoiced with shout and with the sound of shofar. It is in the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 6, 12 and 17. Then it was reported to King David, saying, Adonai has blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that belongs to him because of the ark of God. So David went and brought the ark of God up from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with joy. Now, when the bearers of the Ark of the Covenant of Adonai had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed an ox and a fatting calf. Meanwhile, David was dancing before Adonai with all his might while he was wearing a lined ephod. So you see that the sacrifices is always connected with the covenant. Now in the covenant, we have the part commit to do something. Responsibilities and provision and promises. They promises to do something. So in the same way, Elohim promised to David to do what? To make David's name great. In the book of Samuel, chapter 7:9, what we have, I have been with you wherever you went and have cut off all your enemies from before you, and I will make your name as great as the greatest on the earth. And this is what happened. David became great, great, and great. And even their enemies fear him. And he had the respect of everyone. Even the Philistines fear David. Also, we see in the scriptures that his name, David, is throughout all the scriptures as the man, the king who loved Elohim and who kept his Torah. And someone also the scripture says that he was according to the heart of Elohim. So his name is everywhere. Currently, till now, King David is known and considered as the greatest king in Israeli history. When you speak with someone and you go to Israel or you speak everywhere, they recognize David as the greatest king. So Elohim promise to give a permanent dwelling place for Israel. In the book of Samuel, chapter 7:10. Wow. I will also set up a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them so they may dwell in their own place and not to be disturbed again. You know, it's very important to be king and for a people to have their own land. Although our people, Israel, our ancestor, Israel, were driven from their land in different occasions, they start to return. They are returning back, and the why? Because the promise is forever. The time is coming. What we see in Israel, 6 million people, there is 4 million Israelite, and there is 2 millions of Muslim. But the time is coming when Elohim is going to gather the two houses, the house of Israel and the house of Judah, because we know that the house of Israel is about the 10 tribes, and the house of Judah is about Judah, and the Levites. So the 12 tribes will be gathered one day, very soon, soon and very soon, when we are going to see the king. He is gonna gather the staff in the hand of Joseph and the staff in the hand of Judah. And then, and then we are going to have a land, as it says the scriptures. Elohim also he promised to give rest from all the and his enemies. Second Samuel chapter 7, 10, 11. We could see there that says, and then in the verse before says that the enemies will not, no more will not bother them. Ah, hello, hello, j'avais pas vu. Ah, oui, c'est vrai. Since the day that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, so I will give you rest from all your enemies. We see that Israel, since the beginning, had enemies. Why? Because it's simple. Israel, the nation of Israel, is Elohim people. So the other nations comes against Israel. And there is the way that Elohim he could demonstrate himself who he is. And he told Israel, I chose you not because you were special or more important than the other nation. No, I choose you because you are insignificant and you are few, you are weak. And with you, I'm gonna make know my awesome, amazing name. So the but now we know that soon in Yom Kippur, Yeshua will judge all the enemies of Israel. And there, from then on, no more worries. Why no more worries? Because no more enemies. They will, for there will be only peace. Why? Because Yeshua, the Prince of Peace, will be there as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And his name, scripture says that Yeshua's name is Yahweh Sidkenu. So the time is come, is at hand. So Elohim also, he promised to David that his son will build Elohim temple. In 2 Samuel 7, 12, 13, he says, he will build a house for my name, and I will establish his royal throne forever. Elohim told that it was going to be his son and not David himself. Firstly, because David, he was a warrior. David shed a lot of blood. And his son, Solomon, will be the one who will build the temple. And the name of Solomon, it revealed itself who was Solomon. In Hebrew, Shalom, Shalom, peace, Mon. That's why he is the man of peace, and he had peace during his kingdom. And his Elohim says that his son, his descendants, will build a temple. Who is the descendant of David? Solomon. And after Solomon, few generations later, is Yeshua. And Yeshua is the offspring of David, and his body was the temple. Yeshua says, destroy this temple, and I will, and I will build, I will lift it up 3 days after. He was Elohim temple. How come? Elohim, the spirit of Elohim was in Yeshua. Yeshua is the Word made flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim, and the Word became flesh. Being himself Elohim, his body was his temple. So Elohim promised also to David that promised a house, promised the kingdom. And he said that his kingdom, his throne will be established forever. 2 Samuel 7:16. Let's see if we have. I will be father to him, and he will be a son to me. You see that in the Brit Hadachah we find the same words. Immediately he is speaking about Solomon, but with the time we see that it's not only Solomon, it's about Yeshua. So he says, if he commits iniquity, this is for Solomon, I will correct him with the rod of man and with the stroke from Son of Man. Yet my loving kindness will not be withdrawn from him as I withdrew it from Saul, whom I removed from before you. So your house and your kingship will be secure forever before you. Your throne will be established forever. Since this covenant, Elohim kept his word. He kept all the time one descendant from the house of David to be the king in Judah till Yeshua came. When Yeshua came, there was no king according to the line of David, King David. Herod, he doesn't belong to King David. So we see that in Luke chapter 1, 32, 33, it is written, and it says, Elohim, God will give him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over Jacob's descendants forever. His kingdom will never end. So is the same word. So the covenant was made with who? Who are the two parts? Was Elohim, the one who was made the covenant, and was also David, was for David, and was for his descendants. We see in Psalms chapter 89. And what is the nature of the covenant? It was unilateral. Why? Because was Elohim who decided to make a covenant with David. It was not David, but was Elohim who came to make a covenant. And the covenant in the beginning was conditional, because in the in the first book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, Elohim says, if you obey, if you walk faithfulness, then you will have always a son of you, a descendant from you in your throne. If not, later we see that the covenant was unconditional. Because we see that that no matter the descendants of David, if they keep or not the Torah, if they obey or not, Elohim says that he will not alter or change what his lips have uttered. This is in the book of Psalms, chapter 89, 34, and we have read in before. So we see that the nature of the covenant is also irrevocable, is unbreakable. Elohim, he says in Jeremiah, in the book of Jeremiah 33 says, 20, 21, 22 says, if you could, I put my law in the skies, in the heavens, uh, as the heaven cannot be shaken, in the same way, my covenant with David is unbreakable. So that means that this covenant is a everlasting covenant, is a covenant of salt. So all the former covenants we have studied, we saw a sign. Let's say we saw with Noah, we saw the rainbow. I have all the time in mind arc-en-ciel, rainbow. Yeah, we have the rainbow, and in the others we have a sign. What is the sign? The sign is that Elohim told David, "You, your son, will build the temple, the house, a house for me," and it needs a sign. So the temple was created by Solomon, and this is the visible approval of the covenant with David. There is in the second Samuel chapter 7:13 when Elohim says that his son will build the temple. So Elohim made the covenant with David, and because, or let's say that David, he is like a bridge. He is from the line of Abraham, from the line of Judah. And David is the one where where the seed of redemptions was carried. He was carry this seed. And why? The seed, we know that is Yeshua. And it's Yeshua who is the one who brings redemption and salvation. So I heard a song from Hebrew people that doesn't believe it, doesn't follow Yeshua, but they says, cloth, remove your garden, remove your garments, and put new garments of glory and majesty, and draw near to the redemption brought by the son of Jesse. We know that the son of Jesse is King David, but they know that from the line of Jesse will come the one who is the Redemptor, Yeshua. So also, when we take the name of David, his name is written or spelled like that: Daleth, Vav, and Dalet. When we see his numeric value, Dalet is 4, Vav is 6, and Dalet, and with Dalet is 4. You see that the total of his value number is 14. So what we see in the scriptures, that from Abraham till David, there are 14 generations. And from David to the exile, 14, and from there to Yeshua are 14. So there is not a coincidence. There is not an accident that David, the name is value name value. The value numeric value of his name is 14. So what is the purpose? This emphasizes that Yeshua come from Abraham and from the line of David. In the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1 to 6, 17, we could read. Okay, okay. So it's easy. I'm gonna uh, we we are going. I apologize. It says, "This is the genealogy of Yeshua, the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham." And when we keep on reading, says that Abraham was the father of Isaac, and after he finished with continue with Judah, and after David, and after Yeshua. So to conclusion, to, con to conclude is that we are here. And the covenant Elohim made with David, it, I will not say that is full completed, but already the one who was promised came already. So, and whatever is our situation, personal situation, we cannot stay like that. We cannot accept to the idea, I was born like that, I'm gonna die like that. No, I was born like that, but in Yeshua, because he made a covenant with David, and because he fulfilled the covenant, I have the blessing, the opportunity. All of us, we have this opportunity from Elohim by his covenant of salt to change our life, to be transformed by Yeshua, the one who was prophesied. So if we are struggle with us, just if we want to be blessed and see our life that is transformed, let come humbly ourselves and bow down, put our knees on the floor and and ask Yeshua, because he is the one, he is the spirit, he's the spirit and life. He is the Almighty. He is the ark of your mighty. He is the Almighty, and He is the one, because of what He has done in the cross. Now we have access to all His mercies. We have access to the life. He poured out His blood, and blood. What's mean blood? Life. He gave offered His life, and He took our death, and He took our defeat. We are not to be defeated anymore. Why? Because the Lion of the tribe of Judah, he overcome, and he is there, and he is real. I don't believe in letters written with ink. I believe that this letter written with ink have inside inner them have the spirit of Elohim. And this spirit transforms and change simple life and makes great life. Yeshua bless you. Shabbat shalom. And for the food, okay, we are going to give thanks. Elohim, we are in your presence. Who am I? Who are we that you thought and you did